pyramid is on page, in your pink packet, go to page, let me see, 4. Yep, go to page 4 in your pink packet. So for a pyramid, to find the surface area of a pyramid, the formula would be surface area equals 1/2 perimeter times L plus 2 times B. So perimeter is the base. And what is on the bottom of this pyramid? What's the shape that you see on the bottom of the pyramid? A square or a rectangle, square rectangle. Technically it's a square because all sides are the same, but so to find the P, which is your perimeter, you have to add up all 4 of these sides. So that would be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, 16. So let's go ahead and write that out. Perimeter, which is this, perimeter is 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 16. And this also just happens to have the same area. So capital B, that's area. And you would multiply 4 times 4, which just happens to also be 16. So in this example, perimeter and area are actually the same. That's a coincidence. It won't always be like that. It's actually very rarely going to be that way. All right, the last thing we need to know is L. And L is the length of the side, which is this right here. And what did they tell us that that side is? 5, yep. So we just need to pick up our calculators and type it all in. So surface area equals 1/2 times the perimeter times L plus 2 times the area of the base. So take a minute and type that in your calculator. I guess 72, but let me see. I always try to figure out if I could figure it out without a calculator. But it's still early, so we'll see if I got it right. 16 times 5 plus, yep, 72. All right, surface area is 72 meters squared. Okay. Any questions about how we found that first one? When you take your test, which is in about a week and a half, you want to identify what the shape is and then look at the formula to find the right formula. What do we call this shape? A cone. So I think the formula for cone is on page 5. So go to page 5 in your pink packet. And for a cone, so this one is a cone, surface area is pi RL plus pi r squared. That's your formula for surface area of a cone. Now the radius is half of this number. So radius is 1. Now L is a little hard, all right, for this example, because I need to know this. Go ahead and draw a triangle right here. We need to know this. Okay, so we know that down here, this is a 1. I have to figure out what L is. I'm gonna call this X. So to find L, we have to use the Pythagorean theorem. L is going to equal the square root of 1 squared plus 6 squared. So go ahead, type that in your calculator. Convert it to a decimal. So we're going to take square root of 1 squared plus 6 squared, which is about 6.1. So now you're ready to do your surface area. Surface area equals pi times r times L plus pi times r squared. Go ahead, type that in and get your surface area for the cone. Cloudy, do you have a calculator? Okay, just making sure. Okay, any questions about that?
So, if the length is on the outside,
Yes, so this here, so L would be, L should be on the outside. It should tell you like how far, if you were to put a ruler from here to here, that's L. But this is not, that's on the outside. So yeah, good question, because I don't think we did one that hard before. Okay, so I'm actually going out of order in our notes. So we're going to actually skip kind of towards the back of the packet. So in your packet, in your pink packet, go ahead and go all the way to page 13. How come that's not? Okay. So now we're going to talk about volume. So at the top, go ahead and write what the definition of volume is. When we talk about volume, page 13, is the amount it would take to fill something. So surface area, Jaden, can you take your headset off for me? So surface area would be if you have like a cereal box, how much it would take to wrap the cereal box. Volume is how much cereal is in the box. Okay, so that's the difference. Volume focuses on the inside of the shape. So the definition of volume that you want to write here is what it takes to go inside of the object. So that's a completely different formula. So first we're going to talk about a prism, which remember prisms have the same shape on the top and bottom, and that's just the area of the base times height. So B is the area of the base. And height is on the outside. It's how tall it is. And can you write that for height, it always is connected to a 90-degree angle. That's how you'll know it's the height, if you see a 90-degree angle. So the first thing we're going to do is determine what's the shape at the bottom. Remember, for it to be a prism, it has to have the same shape on the top and bottom. If it has the same shape on the top and bottom, we call that a prism. You can have a rectangular prism, a square prism, triangular prism, and that's really all we have. And of course, we know a circle prism is called something different. So let's go ahead and look at this. So the base of this box, if we're looking at the bottom, see the bottom has this side and this side. So to find the area of the base, the area of the base, which we use a capital B for that, area is always multiplication. So it would be 3 times 12. So go ahead, wait, yeah, 3 times 12. So go ahead and use your calculator, multiply 3 times 12, see what you get. So we got 36. And now to find the volume, we just take the area that we just got and multiply that by the height. So how tall is the box? 8. So it would be 36 times 8. Which, is that 288?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whenever we're talking about volume, it's always units cubed. Okay, not squared, but it's units cubed. And that's it. That is volume of a prism. So essentially, if it's a prism, you're just multiplying all 3 numbers. That's really all you're doing. Multiplying all 3 numbers. All right, let's go to the next page. First thing we need to do is figure out what kind of prism this is. So does everyone notice that this has a triangle at the bottom?
Yeah.
Even though it's laying on the side, that's the base. So the formula for area for a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So the area is going to be 1/2 base times height. So this is a 9. And then, so this one is a little bit harder because they didn't tell us this side here. We have to figure out H. So let's go ahead and figure out H. So I know that this side is 9. And then I know that this side is 15. So I have to find H. And we have to use the Pythagorean theorem to find the height. So 15 squared equals 9 squared plus H squared. Oh yeah, I didn't finish this one. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So what is 15 squared? 15 squared would be 225. And that equals 81 plus H squared. And now we need to do what? How do we solve for H? Not divide. First, we need to get rid of this 81. We have to subtract it. Yep, so subtract 81. So 225 minus 81 is 144. And then our last step would be to take the square root. So the square root of 144 equals H. So the height is 12. So now that we know this height, the height of this side of the triangle, it's not the height of the prism. It's the height of the base. So let's go ahead and make sure we understand what this is, because this one is a little tricky. This side here, this H is the height of the base. So we figured out that the height of the base is 12. It's not the height of the prism, it's the height of the base. So now we can find the area of the base. So the area of the base is 1/2. And it's base times height, or 9 times 12. So go ahead and use your calculator. Type that in. Okay, did you get 54? Now the height of the prism though, height of prism is 10 feet. So to find the volume of the prism, we would take the area of the base times the height of the prism. So the volume is 540 feet cubed. So keep in mind, whenever we're talking about volume, it's units cubed. Area is unit squared. Volume is unit cubed. All right, so now let's look at this one here. So this 16, this is the height of the prism. So this is height of prism. What shape do you see at the bottom of this prism? What's this shape right here? It's a rectangle. So the first thing we need to do is find the area of the base. When you see base, I want you to think it's the bottom. But the tricky part is that if it's laying on its side, you have to really look at it to see. Sometimes the prism is laying sideways. So area of a rectangle is length times width, which is 8. And I should actually write instead of an A, because this is actually, we're using a capital B, so that's what we're using for area. So we just found the capital B, which is the area of the base. Remember, that's what this represents. This is area of base. So to find the volume, we're not going to use this 20. Cross that out. We're going to use the 16 because the 16 is the height of the prism. So volume is going to equal capital B, which we figured out was 8, multiplied by the height, which is 16. So go ahead, use your calculators, figure out what you get for 8 times 16. All right, so we have one more. So go to the next page. One more prism that we're going to find the volume of. So the first thing you want to do, oblique just means that it's leaning. That's all that means, is that it's leaning. Is it out of order, the questions? Oh, okay. All right, so let's start off by looking at the base. So the base is a rectangle. So the area of the base, which is capital B, is going to be 2.5 times 4.9. So go ahead, use your calculators to get the area of the base. So you should have 12.25. So to find the volume, we take that number that we just got and multiply it by the height. And you see how we have this little rectangle right here? Because this 2.2 is next to the rectangle, that's how I know that this is the height. So this is the height of the pyramid. Not pyramid, sorry, prism. So you're going to take that 12.25 and multiply it by 2.2. All right, just 2 more questions for today and then we'll be done. So I want to go to page 15 and now let's talk about volume of a pyramid. So we started off with volume of a prism. How do you find the volume of a pyramid? So on page 15, let me see here. Formula for volume of a prism is 1/3 base times height. So there's actually 2 different ways you can write this. You could say 1/3 base times height, or if you want to, you can write it as a fraction and just say base times height over 3. So it's 2 different ways you can write that formula. Just remember that B, again, is the area of the base. And when you're looking for height, it's always connected to a 90 degree. So you got to look for that 90 degree angle. So we're going to, that one there is a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, that's a hexagon, and we are not talking about a hexagon. Well, actually, no, we can do that one. I don't know why I took it now. So I'll probably put that one back. But for example 4, I accidentally took that out. Do you notice how it already gave you the capital B and the H for example 4? So I'm going to write it in. So for example 4, which I don't have the picture up here, you're just going to take those 2 numbers, so 22 times the height, which is 5, and divide that by 3. So go ahead and do number 4, even though I didn't put the picture in there. They gave you, do you see how it says capital B? So they gave us the area of the base is 22 centimeters squared. The height is 5. So to find the volume, you just take 22 times 5 and divide it by 3. So go ahead, use your calculator. Figure out what you get. And it should be units cubed. So they were nice enough to already give us the area of the base. All right, our last question is this one. So they didn't give us the area of the base, but what shape do we see at the bottom of this pyramid? What do we call that? A rectangle or a square. What's the difference between a rectangle and a square? Anybody know?
Square, all the sides are the same.
All sides are the same, okay? So this is a rectangle square. So to find the area, capital B, if you're trying to find area of a square or a rectangle, you just multiply the 2 sides. You don't have to do the 1/2. So in this example, you just multiply. It's just length times width. So in this example, the area of the base is just 10 times 10, which is 100. And the height, Does everyone notice how we have this line, how this is going down the middle? But do you see that little right angle down here? That's how you know that this number, this 18, is the height. This is the height. So volume is going to equal B times H divided by 3. Which I got 600. Anyone else get 600? Any questions about how to do that? Okay, I'm going to end there. I'm going to pass out homework 3 again. I'm doing it out of order. So we're going to skip over homework 2 and come back to that. So homework 3 right now, the only questions you can do for homework 3 are 1, 2, and 3. So I want you all to work on questions 1, 2, and 3. And if you haven't finished homework 1, make sure you bring it up with your pink sheet to get your